2025 reignited the vampire genre with Sinners mixing blood, power, and the clan. Now 2026 asks a darker question. What if the monsters were the police? 2025 proved that vampire movies could be smart again. Sinners didn't just scare people. It said something. It used fangs, shadows, and blood to talk about race, power, and who really feeds on who. So when Shudder announced Night Patrol, people paid attention. Same idea, different decade, different enemy. This video breaks down the full story of Night Patrol. What actually happens, why vampires are wearing badges this time, and how this movie quietly follows the same dangerous recipe that made Sinners work. Stay with me, because this isn't just a vampire movie. It's a warning dressed up as horror. Night Patrol comes from the same horror space that gave us films like The Omen and Hellraiser. Stories that don't just scare you, they sit with you. Shudder has been on a run lately. They've leaned hard into horror that actually says something instead of just throwing jump scares at the screen. Night Patrol fits that exact lane. A vampire movie, a cop movie, a social nightmare. And at the center of it all is Justin Long, a familiar horror face, but not in a role you feel safe around. The story takes place in modern-day Los Angeles. Not the postcard version, the real one. Housing projects, gang lines drawn by history, police who only show up when it's already too late. We follow a black police officer who grew up in these neighborhoods. He knows the people, he knows the streets, and he knows the rules that don't get written down. Every night, a special unit rolls through the city. They call it Night Patrol. Officially, they exist to keep the streets safe after dark. Unofficially, nobody really knows what they do. At first, Night Patrol looks like every elite task force you've seen in movies. Heavily armed, untouchable, above the law. But strange things start happening. People disappear, crime scenes don't make sense, bodies are drained, not shot. The neighborhoods whisper about it. The cops laugh it off, and the city keeps moving until our main character starts connecting dots he was never meant to see. The twist is simple and horrifying. Night Patrol isn't just corrupt. They're vampires. Not gothic castles, not capes, not romance. These vampires wear uniforms. They clock in. They have backup. They hunt at night, because that's when no one is watching. They feed because they're protected. This isn't about monsters hiding in the dark. This is about monsters hiding in plain sight. Here's where Night Patrol becomes dangerous in the same way Sinners was dangerous. The movie doesn't say all cops are evil. It says systems protect monsters when monsters are useful. Night Patrol feeds on black neighborhoods while claiming to protect them. They use fear as cover. They use gangs as an excuse. And just like Sinners used the clan as a symbol of old power, Night Patrol replaces it with modern power. Badges, guns, legal immunity. Different era, same hunger. Our main character is trapped. If he speaks out, he's dead. If he stays quiet, he's complicit. He's forced into an impossible choice. Protect his badge or protect his people. Gangs that were once enemies become uneasy allies. Not because they trust each other, but because the real predator has revealed itself. This is where Night Patrol flips the usual cop movie on its head. The streets aren't the problem. The system is. Justin Long's character represents something worse than violence. comfort. He's the smiling face of the unit, the one who jokes, the one who says everything is fine. And that's the scariest part, because monsters don't always look angry. Sometimes they look friendly, just like in Sinners. The vampire isn't just evil, it's entitled. The final act turns brutal. The truth comes out. The patrol is exposed. But exposure doesn't mean justice. It means chaos, gunfire, blood, fire in the streets. And the question hangs heavy. If the system created the monster, can the system destroy it? Night Patrol isn't subtle, and it doesn't want to be. This movie doesn't hide its message behind symbolism. You need a film degree to understand. It grabs you by the collar and says it out loud. Monsters evolve. They don't disappear. They don't die off. They adapt. They wear different uniforms. They change their language. They clean up their image, but they always feed the same way. That's the core idea sitting at the heart of Night Patrol. And it's the same dangerous truth that made Sinners hit so hard the year before. In Sinners, the monster wore tradition. Old songs, old symbols, old hatred passed down like an inheritance. Night Patrol updates that idea for the modern world. The hatred isn't wearing robes anymore. It's wearing authority, badges, tactical gear, legal immunity. The vampire here isn't a myth from the past. It's a system that knows how to protect itself. That's why the film doesn't paint its monsters as wild or chaotic. They're calm, they're organized, they follow procedure. Because real power doesn't need to scream. It just needs to be untouchable. And that's what makes Night Patrol uncomfortable in the best possible way. It refuses to let the audience distance themselves from the horror. There's no ancient curse to blame, no supernatural accident. These vampires exist because the system allows them to exist. And that brings us to why this movie actually matters. Night Patrol isn't trying to be comfortable. It's not trying to reassure you. It's not trying to give you a clean victory at the end. It's trying to be honest. It uses vampires the way horror is supposed to use them. Not as cool monsters, not as fantasy icons, but as mirrors. A mirror held up to power, to fear, to the question nobody likes to ask out loud. What happens when the people meant to protect you are the ones feeding on you? By the time the credits roll, the real fear isn't the fangs. It's not the blood. It's not even the violence. It's the realization that nothing in this movie feels far away, or exaggerated, or impossible. Night Patrol doesn't end with the monster fully dead, because that wouldn't be honest. It ends with the reminder that systems don't vanish overnight. They wait, they adapt, they find new ways to survive. And that's what lingers long after the screen goes black. If you want to see how Night Patrol connects to the darker vampire history even deeper, watch the next video on screen now.